What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? Guys, you might have seen some price action starting to happen, and maybe you're getting a little bit of excitement in your deep down in your chest or something like that because you're seeing the movement. And look, it's fair to say that that movement is good, but we're going to talk about what all this means. Now, what we have seen is just a tiny bit of positive movement. We haven't seen an explosive move, and I do think that we're going to get an explosive move, okay? But for the moment, we had FOMC yesterday in the United States. That caused a little bit of a surge in the market. Then the overnights also gave us another surge. We're currently up about $70 billion, but the U.S. market is coming online over the next hour or two, and we probably end up seeing a little bit of retracement, if not immediately in the day, sometime around 1 or 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we normally get a shift in market dynamics. So too much profit sitting on the table for U.S. investors to not just take their toys and go home. And, it's U.S. investors. So you'll probably see some of that happening, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see a continuance of positive movement. Now, there's pieces to go over that are going to lead to, in my estimation, some positive movement, and we'll talk about all that. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. But before we get started, the one thing that I always ask you guys, sign up for Terra Casino. This is where you go to win $11,000. You can use whatever crypto that you want. There's a link in the description down below. There's a lot of people here. And look, all you have to do, put $1, $2, a couple of bucks in here. Just start playing a little bit and see if you can't end up being one of those winners of $11,000. Now, you might be looking at this right here and you might be saying, well, actually, they're whoever this is betting a lot. Well, there's multiple people on here. It's not just one person, but yeah, there is one person on here betting a ton of money at a time. And look, that's just what people do sometimes. So if you haven't already, sign up today. Certainly helps me out. And also, if you are looking for meme coins, we'll talk about that in a moment. All right, guys. So the first thing up is lunc price at risk despite Terra Classic hitting a 400 billion milestone. Now, what does that mean? Well, to break this down, according to lunc metrics, the network surpassed the 400 billion burn milestone this week. Over 400.6 billion Luna Classic tokens have been incinerated, with the trend continuing. Now, a lot of that comes from Terraform Labs and their recent burn. So why is it not going into the price action? Well, it's because we're not getting what we wanted out of this so far, which was a much more robust level of burn. See, if we've burned 400 billion tokens over the course of, let's call it 2.5 years, almost 3 years at this point. So if we have only burned 400 billion over almost 3 years, we are definitely behind the 8 ball. At this point, most of us would have expected somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 trillion to $2 trillion would have been burned had we had a repeg, had we had something here to revive, if you will, what had become at one point a zombie chain. So, the question becomes like, how do we make this happen? Like, how do we improve? How do we make this thing really start to I don't know, excel? And that's the question. And since we haven't had a really good answer for it so far, despite the fact that there's some amazing things happening, but despite the fact that we haven't done that, that has caused a gigantic dump. Because guess what? In this market is no longer about building and fundamentals. This market is about meme coins and wealth transfer. That's really where we are right now. And I do want to say that for those of you that if you're a degen, if you will, and you're making money on meme coins and stuff like that, shout out to you. But the fundamentals will always shine through, and something like Luna Classic or something will pump super hard. Harder than the average meme coin. So fear not, I want to say, just it's delayed a little bit. That's all I'm going to say about that, and we're going to move on. All right, now there's a conversation to be had here, and we're going to have it, but this is about Classic Chaos Podcast. Now we've reached a spot here where Classic Chaos, who is now coming out of the woodwork, if you will, for the last couple of weeks and really kind of focusing on not just their podcast, but also giving you information on Commonwealth, okay? So what they've done is they've developed some probability models and governance experiments. And look, by the way, they're doing it based on other people's stuff. Their methodology, we applied a scenario-based weighted scoring module by identifying identifying key factors. There is a system here by which they're doing it, but as with anything, this is not a double blind, so it's subject to their opinion and interpretation, okay? So we do have to understand that, okay? So there's a few things. These are major issues, okay? No project management tools. 47% of governance proposals see no validator notes. Community pools remain large but lack leadership, preventing effective And by the way, leadership really is the big decision thing here. Fragmented decision making. No single roadmap, multiple discussions about the need for a plan, yet no one drives execution. 70% play politics, 15% sabotage or do nothing, only 15% actually try to rebuild. Now, none of that is exactly true. This is just their estimation of it based on what's happened so far. And what we're talking about, and what I'm talking about here, is 70% are playing politics. Well, not necessarily. That doesn't mean that they're bad actors, and this would imply by playing politics that they are bad actors. Maybe they just want things the way that they want, and they think that thriving community would be better served in a different fashion than what we are voting on or what people are otherwise saying. Because Ed Kim was not completely right at any point about everything. I mean, we should know that. None of these guys in the early days were 100% right. That's why there was a trio of people kind of leading everything. There were more people, but you get my point. So they're giving a score to each one of them. The raw data confirms serious governance and now paralysis. A legally recognized foundation could impose accountability, but must still overcome validator apathy and the decentralized chain. And guys, listen, if you're passively just staking with somebody who's not doing you justice, you're part of the problem too, as well. So remember, we're assigning a weight score, and this is what's happening here. Scenario A is a fully decentralized Terra Classic, no formal roadmap or legal entity, which can be the worst performing, okay? Second is the remains decentralized consensus, but establishes a legally recognized foundation or DAO to handle marketing, partnerships, funding, and compliance. And then the third one, which is a DAO headed by a well-known, highly respected blockchain entrepreneur like CZ Binance or something like that. So they're giving you the interpretation and their opinion of how this would work if this person were in charge. Okay, so that's where these scores come from. On the product development and technical roadmap, here are the pieces that are a problem. L2 projects are more active, often reaping project profits at L1's expense. Terra Classic has not restored its once popular L1 product. Documentation is outdated and incomplete. 0 L1 flagships in three years post crash, no major. And by the way, 0 L1 flagships. Now that is going to change. That's going to change by virtue of Juris Protocol becoming something, and Selenium becoming something. But again, these are L2 projects at this point, so they're going to help, but we haven't established that one big project here that generates revenue on the layer 1. So again, 2, 5, and 6 are the scores on that scenario. And then the Oracle pool sustainability, again, there's all these different things. I'm going to ask you to go check this out if you are curious. There's a conclusion down here. They're giving a just an idea of what the price is going to be. Their projection goes over and over again to say that they're really looking at it at about 306 as maybe the top of the market. For a blockchain ecosystem with a historical market capitalization of over 40 billion, attempting to rebuild the global market trust through experimental, loosely defined 3-person committee with no legal standing or funding reserves is not a model supported by real-world business or blockchain success cases. They're digging deep here, but they're giving you an opinion. And their idea of success is number 3, right here, achieving a lunc price above 306. So I'm going to encourage you to go read this and decide for yourself whether you think and you agree with this. Remember, they're telling you what to think by giving you their opinion. Okay. If you agree with that, then you're going to be on the same page with them. So you're going to be looking at the same things, and the focus would go towards, fixing the perceived problems over here. Now, if you disagree with them and you think that these numbers of 2, 5, and 6, or whatever the numbers may be in their analysis of each scenario and reality, if you disagree with that, then why? What is it that you disagree with? and, what do you think should be done? And there's room, by the way, for tons of comment. All you have to do is come over and participate. So, check it out. Go watch go listen to the Classic Chaos podcast if you want. I've had conversations with them, so I'm interested in what you have to say and what you think about it. So in the comments down below, go let me know what you think of Classic Chaos podcast and what they're doing right now. Let's move on to meme coins and price. So we're up a tiny bit today, not a whole lot. But the market, it's really about lunc. Lunc has to eat before the rest of the market is going to eat. The value of Luna Classic, if it goes up exponentially, then all of the meme coins, of course, go up exponentially as well. And what happened was, the unfortunate part of this is something like Food, Garuda X, Juris, all these things that are really a little bit surging, just a tiny bit here, would be doing so much better if Luna Classic just 3x'd or 4x'd or 5x'd and just kind of, drug everybody up just a little bit. Like, that would be a really good thing for the overall and broader market. So, that's what I would like to see. It's going to take some time. So in the meantime, you can see right here, Food and Garuda X still having a nice little run. It's transitioning this money into Juris, into Cat with Hat, getting it into the meme coins and stuff like that. Like, that's the part that we're waiting for. And again, I think we need a little bit more to this chain. We need a little more vibrance, a little bit more activity, and then we'll see it happen. Now, while I'm saying that, I'm telling you also that if you want to buy meme coins, the best place to go is Terra.finance. They are an L2, but that is a place for you to go. Now, I can also claim all my rewards now, so my stake is done. I'm going to leave it here for right now to let it continue earning, and I'll take the profit off camera, and then I'll reset it over here, and I'll show you guys tomorrow or the day after that I've reset it. But for right now, since I'm continuing to earn, I continue to stake with Cryptonomy.finance, and I continue to be impressed. Thanks for tuning in. You can see on the screen right now all of the different transactions. These are the fixed length that I've gone through. As an example, I'm going to earn 0.2 Bitcoin for an investment of 0.2 Bitcoin that I made almost a year ago. That's going to come through on February 10, currently worth about $20,000. Got an 83% reward, getting ready to cash out on USDT. That's money for nothing, guys. My scheduled interest on this is $1,670. I cashed out $82,000 in November of this year after investing about $80,000 as well. This was a gigantic move. I can't tell you that I'm anything more than impressed with Cryptonomy.finance. On my margin trading account so far, I just want you guys to see this. I put 50 Solana in. I've earned a profit so far of 5.5 Solana. Off of my Ethereum, which was 6 Ethereum, I've now earned 0.88 Ethereum. And this is just margin trading. And off of my Bitcoin investment of 10,857, I've earned about $1,000 so far. Right now is the perfect time to get involved in the crypto market. While many people are blindly buying worthless meme coins or joining yield farms, Cryptonomy Ventures has over 6 years of experience and 437 successful dealings at launch stages, which deliver significant returns. In just 2 weeks, Cryptonomy will be launching the Cryptonomy Launchpad, which is going to give exclusive access to early token sales of top Cryptonomy Venture products, an excellent opportunity to make significant profits. The company is also preparing a launch of its own token with major exchange listings and events coming very, very soon. Those who support Cryptonomy now will be in the best position to benefit from what's ahead. Guys, let me also point out, Cryptonomy has been featured in CoinDo.com just recently, CoinPaper.com just recently, Finbold, Blockonomy, CoinGape, Bitcoinist, and the Crypto Basic. Guys, Cryptonomy.finance is blowing up. A new coin is about to come out. Make sure that you get your bag filled today. I might as well just leave it and let it sit right there. Now, let's talk price action. All right, so we're at 77.23 right now. This dump was epic, by the way. I mean, you kind of zoom out here and you kind of look around at it, and you just, you can't help it, but things got crazy over here in this dump. Now, USTC, same thing. Luna, same thing. It's the entire ecosystem. And look, I know that Luna and Luna Classic are different, but they're part of the same ecosystem. They're using the same Cosmos everything for the most part. So, Luna is a revival attempt on Luna Classic. So, the ecosystem not holding up very well right now overall at all. I mean, basically you got two abandoned blockchains. Would be nice to be able to see that we could get some people over here that were over there before. That would be really cool, really nice to see, but who knows? So the point to that is what I've laid out right here, I think is still the scenario that's going to play out, and that's only a 2x away. But I do think that we'll see kind of an impulse coming into this range over the next, like I think, we're just going to get a big boom, 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 as we start making our way up. Now, I don't think that we're going down. I think the market is in the cycle cut of we're about to get that parabolic phase. I do think that we're just kind of, consolidating right now for an epic sort of move. And I think that Bitcoin's going to lead that with Solana and XRP. And then I think that's going to drag the rest of the market. And then that will wake up Ethereum. And once Ethereum wakes up, then I think the whole market starts to really kind of soar, right? So that's what I'm looking at right now. Now, how that applies to Luna Classic, you're looking for speculative risk-based asset to come out in order to dump into Luna Classic in order to prop up and push that price action, right? Well, that's what's going to happen. A lot of the money that you would normally see in Luna Classic has simply moved into other categories. I'm going to show you something very, very interesting right now, okay? Now, look at us in March over here. Look how high this was. We were at one point right here at 3025, thinking that, you know what, finally, we're going to break out. We're going to have that move, right? Well, the dump became massive. Then we got a secondary test pump up here at 3017, and then it broke down as well, okay? So we had this really big high over here, and then it just kind of dumped after that. Now, if we were to look at the broader market, total 3, this is where it was in March, this is where it is now. More money is here by far than was here in March. So we're seeing an all-time high. We are at or near the all-time high in altcoin prices, but we haven't seen an explosive move at all. And let me show you why that's happening and why basically it's been a problem for the market. And that is because Solana broke out, and Solana has a gigantic market cap. So the fact that Solana did that means that it took up an inordinate amount of that total 3 market cap, and it didn't splash down to the rest of us. But put a pin in that, because also XRP did the same, and it also has a gigantic market cap. But also BNB did that as well, also having a gigantic market cap. Now, when you get past that and you go to something like Crow, that did not happen. In fact, it looks horrible. So, we up here was March. This was where we where's it at here? March, right around here. We had another surge, but we're now down when it comes to Crow. We're not up, if you will. Ethereum, that's where the example is more egregious, because you have that big pump over here, and you did have a secondary pump, but you're not in that range. We're not at the top of the range, and ETH is DeFi still, and that's where the money comes into risk-based assets. I mean, that's really where it comes from. But if we go down here, and we'll see a few, by the way. You'll see Cardano actually had a nice little breakout. It's not near its all-time high. That's part of the problem there. See, that's what's going on. But March, you had this little run here. You had a little pop here because Cardano, again, soaked up a lot of market cap with that Donald Trump pump, okay? But as you go down here and you start looking at APT, you see it did not surge. It got a surge over here, but it hasn't been sustained. You look at Band Protocol, same thing. You saw a big surge, but it didn't get maintained. You start looking down the list at some of the older projects that have been around for a long period of time. Same thing over here. You saw DOT. DOT came over here, had a big move, and then it's way down. So what's happened is money has moved into some of these larger cap altcoins, and it has not yet cascaded down, but it will. So, and by the way, Litecoin breaking out right now. Again, this is a massive market cap project, and it's sucking up a lot of that liquidity. So then that begs the question, well, what's going to happen here? Well, I think that this market cap right here is about to soar. I think that we're probably going to see a surge of the total market cap for meme coins and altcoins coming up in that 2 trillion range. I think that's what we're getting ready to see. This little continuation here of this sort of, if you just kind of look at this from the context of, well, how much did it move, right? Each time. So you have this surge right here, right? Then you have this next surge right here, did the same thing. So you have this next surge right here. Could be like right in this range right here. So we're talking about 2 trillion moving into the market. And when that happens, there will be a big pump on almost everything that's still small. And we are still small. That's what's going to happen. Book it right now. The question is, how far does it go? Now, this to me was just the start. How far it goes is, I do think that what we'll end up seeing right there, no matter what, is going to be that all-time high at 306, which is what they were talking about in their analysis. But ultimately, I think we're going to get a breakout that goes up above and beyond to 2027 right here. This is, right now, this is, I want to say about a 20x, a 30x or something like that. Puts us near 10 billion market cap. It's not gigantic. This is a very doable sort of number. So I think that that ultimately is what's going to happen. Okay. Now, as far as volume goes, volume is still super low over the last couple days. WeSo World, if you haven't already, check this out. See if it's something that you vibe with. This is the mining portion. The WeSo mining schedule is focused on long-term normalization of lunc Classic, emphasizing that restoring trust and stability is a gradual process requiring time and careful planning. To promote sustainable growth, WeSo has structured its emissions curve to a 10-year period to mine all 7 billion tokens, ensuring a predictable supply that mitigates volatility and fosters investors' confidence. So the WeSo token will be unlocked as we go through a mining schedule, and this might be a good time to get in early, because if it's going to take a while, a 10-year period, then this is a long-term growth project. So grab yourself a bag and check it out. Now, as far as lunc burns go, let's talk burns real quick. We're down to 1 billion over the last 7 days, but really that comes down to that big 600 million move that happened 7 days, no longer on this little rotation here, but we still had pretty big numbers. And I would dare say today, by the way, if you look at it, it's only 10 million in the burns. Maybe we'll see some more, or this will just be one of the worst days in recent memory for burns if we don't get something happening. But again, people might be tightening down on their money, and we might see something happening here very, very shortly where we get just a surge, just some kind of big time surge. I don't know whether we will or we will not, but I'm just kind of guessing that something will happen there. So I do think that, we do have to have some kind of big move. So 1 billion, as far as lunc, look, all the rest of this we'll get into at a later point. Okay. But for right now, let's wrap this up. We spent a lot of time. I've talked a lot today. Apologize. I think that we're going to be fine. Okay. If you define fine as, 20 or 30x, I think that's simple at this point. I think it really is going to be an easy thing to do. And here's the thing. I think the Juris protocol is going to explode in value. I think that Terra is going to explode in value. These L2s, they will have huge value run-ups. Garuda X, same thing. Now, Garuda X has got Garuda Swap, I want to say, that's coming out very, very soon. There's an announcement that will be forthcoming that we're going to see. There's been rumors and talk about it, and you can find it on, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but look for Garuda X to make a big, big splash as well. Money's getting moved around in these, in these different projects, looking for that one that's going to absolutely soar, which will bring in and attract new people. And then, of course, that cascades down to the rest of the market. So that's what's going on. I mean, that's, the most honest assessment I can give you of everything that's happening right here. I hope you appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, make sure that you sign up at Terra Casino today. Sign up at Weeks today. If you want to do some trading, by the way, I'm going to give you some bonuses on on weeks. I haven't done it yet. Sign up today if you want to, but I'm going to try to get you some kind of bonuses and stuff, cash for signing up. And then you have Terra.finance over here. Make sure that you sign up with them as well, because that's where the meme coins are being traded. So hook it up. All right, we'll talk to you again very, very soon.